Good evening. Welcome to this Wednesday night date with me. As some of you may know, I do this every Wednesday. My name is Ramya Pandian. I often go by Idea Smith or Idea Smithy. Now, normally I call this Girl Talk XX Factor, but this week onwards I decided to change it up for a bunch of reasons which I'll probably get into another time. But long story short, it's just the name that has changed. It's still about having a date, a midweek catch up with someone I find super interesting and doing fun stuff with them on Wednesday night. And the rest of you are invited to join in the fun. My date is already here, but I'm going to keep him waiting for a bit until everyone else tunes in because I'm expecting a big turnout today. So hello Rinku, thanks for being here. Can you confirm whether you can see me clearly and you can hear me? Richard is here as well, sending you a wave, and I'm going to give you a little hint about my date. This is by him. This is an original, Jai Ranjit. He's a really, really dear friend of mine. He's one of my favorite people actually. And today he's agreed to spend an hour, well maybe a little less, but at least an hour just chatting with me about art, creativity and a bunch of things. It's MKBTW is here. So hello there. Hi. I'm very well, Rinku. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. And I'm guessing you're Jay's friend since we haven't spoken before. So shall I let my date in? Let me bring him in. A whole lot more interesting than I am. I have to do all of this just to keep up with him. So I'm drumming, drum roll, and here he is.
Hello.
Hi. So I can see
Hi.
the wall behind you a lot more than I can see your face. So maybe you could
Okay, hang on.
turn it up a little bit. Is the music too
Is
loud?
it better?
Yes,
No, it's
much
okay. I mean,
better.
I can
Much-
hear you clearly now, but I can't really hear the music. Am I visible completely? Am I clear? Am I clean? Or am I blurry?
Yes, you are visible. What I'm going to do is turn the music down slightly because it's really quite loud at my side and I want to be able to hear you. That was supposed to be mood music. It's like jazz and all that, which is very creative music as far as I'm concerned. So you're looking very nice today, Jay, as always.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You're looking very lovely
And
as
I
well.
think,
I love the paint on the face and everything.
thank you. I added a few touches, like a little here, like I'm leaking. Okay, sorry about that. That's my Bluetooth speaker speaking up in between. But yeah,
No
and
worries, no
according to
worries.
your instructions, I have lengthened this brush so people know it is a brush.
No,
My
it
mother
definitely
thought I was
looks
wearing
really nice.
specs. My
It does
mother
have
thought I
that
was
kind of
wearing
effect.
specs. Yeah, I totally did not expect that, but I'm like, okay, theek hai. And one friend I sent it to is like, nice butterfly. I'm like, no, this is paper. This is like paintbrush. So I'm going to keep this here so people know that that's what it is. It was like,
I think I can do the same as well. I have so many brushes here, but there we go.
yeah, let's see your brushes because, oh, hey, and Radhika's here.
Well,
Hello. Hmm.
if you would like to see the brushes, you have to give me 1 second to yank them out of the
Yeah.
setup that I have. But
And while we're
brushes,
waiting, you can all take a look at all the brushes and all on my top as well. That is the reason I'm wearing. Oh, I love that, Jay. My God, all those brushes. Give me.
there's brushes, and then there's palette knives, and there's a special rounded bristle brush as well. Some of these haven't aged well, I must say. They've kind of got paint still stuck in them, but they work just fine. So different
Yeah, but
textures, different finishes.
that's like, I mean, these are not props. They are actually, I mean, they have been loved and they have
Oh,
created art.
absolutely,
Right?
absolutely.
So
I mean, if you look
this
at
is
the
a brush
state
that I've
of,
never actually used.
I can
This
say
brush
that.
is a prop. You can see that, right? That's why because I was like photo
Yep.
mein acha lagega, but like the
It's
brushes that I
all nice
have
and
used are
clean and
hmm.
pristine and pretty.
No, not just that. Like the brushes I really do use, some of them, their bristles have also worn down, but they've worn down in exactly the way I want to. So, they give the right kind of stroke when I take them across paper. So, yeah. Okay, Gautam is saying I joined before, but only Radhika got noticed for some reason. Oh, okay, Gautam, I'm noticing you. I totally love you. So that's a friend. So Jay, I thought you might want to see this again. This is a much loved work of yours that I
Thank you
still,
so much.
that I have in the room. So yeah, I really, really like this.
Absolutely a
So
pleasure to
yeah,
always see it with you.
yeah. I mean, I looked at this and I'm like, yes, this is mine. Like this is like it's not yours. Like you were just like one step in the middle. Like this is meant to be mine. I
No, I'm
love the
glad. I'm
fact
glad.
all
That
these
was a fun
notes
piece.
make a I love the fact that there seems to be a story in this. So I mean, I don't know, and we never talked about it. But and if you want to, if you prefer not to, we don't have to. But
No, no,
I
absolutely. I mean,
just
so every piece of mine has a story in it. Every piece has a story behind it. The
yeah,
boot that's there is a recurring motif of sorts that like turns up after ages every once in a while. Hi
right.
Radhika, by the way, nice to have you here as well. It's been quite a while. So the boot is just kind of my way of saying, you know what, we're done for the day. The boots come off, and you can just relax a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't exactly apply to me because even if I take the boots off, the day doesn't end. So it's just like a nice artistic metaphor, so to speak.
Hmm. Yeah. And I mean, even without you telling me all this, it's just something about this. It feels very. Yeah, I get the feeling of there's a story here, the story is not yet over, but it's like I'm being invited to come and maybe sit down there and listen to the story or whatever it is. These are just my interpretations, but yeah,
Absolutely,
I love the
absolutely.
story. So I thought
I'm glad. I'm
it,
glad.
yeah, yeah. So we've been having a few interesting conversations. By the way, sorry, I just jumped right into this, but lots of people are joining. Like seriously, people
Absolutely,
come
yeah.
only for the person who's with me, not for me. Many of these people are here for the first time. So
No, no,
hello,
no.
people. Hello, Jay's fans.
I'm sure that whoever's coming in is here to stay, so that's always a good thing.
So they are here to stay as long as you are here. Oh, people are sending hearts also. Thank you so much. I know all those hearts are for Jay, but Harish is here. Yay.
It's good to see so many lovely faces again after so long.
I know. Huh? And Harish is like one super colorful face. Have you seen his
Absolutely.
latest pre-pandemic avatar of
Oh,
Miss
always.
Goody
I've been
Two-Shoes?
following him. Yeah, I've been following Harish for a long, long time. So
Hmm.
always a
So
pleasure to see.
Harish has been experimenting with drag and has an avatar, Miss Goody Two Shoes. Anant is here.
Yeah.
Hello. Anant is an engineer turned songwriter, musician. Do you know each other? Say hello, Anant.
Um, hello, hello, hello. Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah. So Jay, it seems like I should ask you, what are you working on these days? Anything you want to tell us about?
Right now, I'm not really working on anything purely because I'm about to start moving into a new studio space, which I'm very excited about. So, very, very happy. So that's also kind of why I've angled the camera this way and not that way because there used to be a painting up there, but all of that's
Right.
kind of packed and kept away and it's ready for transport tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, the
Oh,
big
tomorrow
move
morning.
happens tomorrow. Yeah, the whole setup begins tomorrow. I've been looking forward to this for a long, long time, and I'm
Yeah.
very, very excited to start putting everything together and getting my own collection up on the walls and everything. For the
Yeah.
longest time, my collection that I've been building myself has been sitting in my cupboards and in bags and in
Yeah.
packages and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And literally in the
hopefully
corridor and
very,
all
very
like.
soon, yeah. No, not even those.
Hmm.
Those are just my paintings. I'm talking about the collection that I'm building myself by buying from other artists.
Right. Right.
I
Oh. Oh.
for those of you here who already know me, you'll know that I'm always trying to support young artists. I'm always trying to support my colleagues. I'm always trying to support the community in general,
Young and
and
not so
that
young
also
also.
means yeah,
Yeah.
that also means not just making art but also trading art. So in some cases, it's about sharing art with others. Um, Maybe trading some of my pieces for theirs, or sometimes vice versa,
Yeah.
where they come to me and say, "I'd love to have this piece of yours," and I say, "Okay, you can take this one of mine." But if I'm buying the artwork, then it's always at fair price. It's never below
Yeah.
par. Always making sure that there's a good situation happening for everyone.
Yeah.
Huda, hello, and also Radhika. Well, as soon as it's ready and as soon as the current situation is under control and it's safe, I will be opening my doors to everyone. So when that does happen, you're very welcome to join in and come have a paint session as well.
So
It
actually,
will be
that's
fun.
a good. So I did want to ask you, Jay, and you're probably going to answer that anyway. But are you thinking of it as a gallery as well? Maybe like a mini gallery. But
Um,
so is it a place that you want to invite people to come and just view
oh, of
also?
course. I mean, considering where it's located, obviously I can't have too many guests at any given particular
Yeah.
period of time, but definitely a couple of people at a time who can just come in. If you're feeling creative as a creator and you want a space to just sit down and nice and quietly work or have some nice music playing while you're working or just engage in a nice conversation to be inspired to create something, whether it's a painting or a print or to a bit of a piece of photography or write,
Yeah.
whether it's a story or a poem or a piece of prose or something like that, whatever it may be. I mean, I want to create a space that I'm comfortable in, but is also open and inviting to others to come in and create. But to answer your question in terms of it being a gallery, to some extent, yes, it will be because I do want it to be kind of like a singular space where people can come in and see my work instead of having to traverse all the way around the city to 5 different places to see things. But
Yeah.
also for a place where I can take on perhaps a few more personal commissions,
Yeah.
have sitters sit to be painted or photographed or
Yeah.
things like that. So I think that's kind of where I want to start taking the space bit by bit. For right now, though, I want it to be my private workspace for the first maybe
Yeah.
month or two and just settle into it. I've never had a space like this before. So I want it to be a creative space. I want it to allow me to explore as much as I can, but also to set it up in a comfortable manner for me to start
Yeah.
filming my YouTube videos in a much cleaner way. As of
Yeah.
right now, where I'm sitting in my room and everything, and how it has
Yeah.
been the whole year, it's very cramped, very clustered, just like
Mhm.
clustered and just everything
True.
everywhere. And I wish I could move
Yeah.
the camera around, but the stand would just probably like dislocate itself. So
Yeah.
perhaps for another day. But once it's set up, it's going to be nicely set up in such a way that I can teach online because that is primarily what I'll be using the space for the
Yeah.
current moment. But also to have my print set up done nice and evenly to make sure that my printing press has its proper space, the paper cutter has a proper space.
Yeah.
To have all of these things that kind of are just in the right positions and the right spaces to
Yeah.
be used to their full advantage. To be able to set up an
Yeah.
easel and not have 50 things around me that are cramping me, and to be able to
Yeah.
stand there and
Yeah.
paint or
Yeah.
sit and paint or do
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I wanted to go right now, but over time I'm going to develop it into a more open kind of come over for a cup of chai and create some art kind of space.
So I love this, and I think I don't know how many of the people on this live are familiar with this concept, but you and I have both been from my end. I mean, we both remember the Hive when it was around. While they did focus more
Absolutely.
on the performing arts, they still tried to create that whole atmosphere of any creative person, any branch of creativity is welcome, and this is like your home. You can come and just be here and just imbibe in the artistic energy, creative energy flying around. I love that, including
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
you did the murals, right? The Hives
I
murals
did
were done by you.
one, yeah, I did one of the murals there, but I was also part of an exhibition that was held over there, a group show that we put
Visual
together,
disobedience. Yeah,
Visual Disobedience, but also
yeah,
part of different events and things after that.
yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
had a whole bunch. There's something, so a friend of mine, Anisha Sharma, who is a brilliant writer herself
Lucky
and a
dancer.
brilliant
Hmm.
creator,
Yeah, yeah.
she put together this really amazing event called Mumbai Tokri, and it
I
was a
remember
really nice
that.
amalgamation. Yeah, it was a really nice
Yeah,
amalgamation of poetry and literature and
yeah,
art and performances
yeah.
and all of these kinds of things, which was a lot of fun. I also met my partner at that space, so that was at a screening of a fashion film, which was hosted by another friend of mine, who is a brilliant diver and also an animal activist. So
Mm-hmm.
fantastic group of space to kind of meet people and interact with and do cool stuff in. So that is, it's
So
not, the level that my space will reach. Obviously, it's a small, very intimate studio, but I want the atmosphere to be similar to that. I want it to be welcoming.
So I think this is very interesting. You talked about the level because I was just thinking after Hive, I mean, of course, there's been other, and there are two people in the room that I do want to stop and say hi to. That's Lady Runs a Lot and No Funky Name. Hi, shout out people. These are two lovely poets that I know from another space that some of us here love greatly called The Habitat. And The Habitat, Jay, if you're familiar with it, I think has tried to do something similar, but for the performing arts, so
Absolutely.
music, comedy,
Absolutely.
poetry, and all of
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
So there is a very because I'm a performer, it feels like home, and people in these other disciplines also feel like kin. Whether whatever politics we may have up and down, that there
Yeah,
is a
absolutely.
certain this we have one space that is jointly ours. So we are invested in that space, which also means it is a physical representation of the entire community, the entire the art form, so to speak, that we are part of. You did talk
Absolutely.
about it may not be
Absolutely.
at that level, but Jay, if you remember, we met at a space like that, and that was not really a huge big thing. You want to talk about that
Absolutely.
because I think it's such a lovely story, origin story.
Uh, well, if you're referring to the massive wall that you were all working on, then yes, that was a phenomenal situation where the city just needed color, and a bunch of us responded really, really openly, and we were just like, you know what, we can do this. We've been given the opportunity, and it's our shot to do it. And it
Yeah,
just generated conversations.
yeah,
Um, I want to just hark out to what Deepak is also saying over here, where we're talking about the worth of art is very subjective, and I think the worth of art lies in the interactions it creates.
lovely.
The fact that you and I were painting different things on different parts of the wall, but we were able to have a conversation. We were able to ask each other
Yeah,
about what
yeah,
we were doing and why we were doing it, and the colors
yeah,
we were
yeah, yeah.
using and what they meant to
And we
us.
were
I
strangers.
still, it was, yeah, and we were complete strangers. We never met before. We never interacted before. That was the first time we were really seeing each other in the flesh and meeting each other and
And
talking to each other,
our
saying hi,
circles
hello, I
would
am so and so.
our circles would probably not have intersected either, whether age-wise or background-wise or
Absolutely.
whatever it is. There's no this.
Absolutely. For a very, very long time. For a very, very long
Yeah,
time. I mean, it's definitely something that is rare in a city like Mumbai where so many paths can
yeah,
intersect. Most people think it's more common than it is, but given the fast-paced life that we live, given the urban nature of the city and
yeah,
the different attitudes towards life in the city,
yeah,
it's not always easy for two different types of people to cut paths across each other and to
yeah.
be able to interact in such a way that you can build a good long-lasting relationship. But when it does
True.
happen, it's like magic.
Hmm.
It's something that
Yeah,
lasts
yeah.
forever. It's something that grows very, very well. I mean, to think back, it's been when was that? That was 2009.
11, 11 years, 2009 it was. Yeah, 2009
Yeah, that
October.
was 2009. So it's been 11 years since that initial conversation
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
offline on a road in the middle of the day under the blaring sun.
Tulsi Pipe Road on a
Yeah,
weekday
exactly.
in the afternoon,
And
daytime afternoon. Yeah, yeah.
absolutely, I can see some of my students saying hello to you guys as well. Good to have you guys here.
Hi, hi.
Um,
So all of
and
you may be too young to remember that. Sorry, Jay, I just wanted to interrupt to kind of give that context. But all of you who are too young or who are, kind of living much more important, busy lives at that time, this was just a random call that BMC, I think, organized this. And they put out a
no,
call saying,
actually, it wasn't. It wasn't actually. It was the Mumbai. It was the Wall Project Mumbai, who reached out to the BMC and put the call out to everyone in the city. The BMC actually came in and supported it on the back of it because they'd seen the
because
work that the
they
Wall
cleaned
Project had
up
been
the
doing in
road
Bandra.
before that. They cleaned
Exactly.
up the
So
road
when
before. Huh.
yeah,
So,
yeah. So
and I think
what the
BMC
Wall
funded the
Project did.
paints and all also. Huh.
Yeah. So the basically what happened was the Wall Project. Big shout out to Dhanya and all those guys and like all the
Yeah.
great work that they
Yeah.
did and are still doing today. The Wall Project reached out to the BMC and said, you know what, you're on a drive right now to clear that space of shanties
Yeah.
and of illegal
Yeah.
occupants and all of that kind of stuff, and like parked vehicles that are broken down, etc. And it was a
Yeah.
mess. That whole space was a big fat mess. And
True.
so when they said, okay, the BMC, you guys are doing this, give us the permission to paint on the walls, sir. Because the wall project had a
Yeah.
very, very strong and something that I still love today as a concept, which was we will not paint a wall for which we do not have the permission.
Right.
So
Right. So it won't be
they've
vandalism.
asked.
It won't be. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Hmm.
It's not just random vandalism. So they got permission from the BMC. The BMC got really energized with the project and said, okay, you know what? If you guys are willing to bring the people in to do something here and to monitor
Yeah.
the content that is being
Yeah.
put up, then we'll offer you as much as we can in the way of
Yeah.
some amount of paints that they had lying around that they could give. They had
Yeah.
those wheelbarrows full of water, so people could come and take water to
Yeah. Yeah.
paint
Yeah.
with.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
provided chai and biscuits and stuff
Brushes.
like that. The rations, yeah, and
Brushes, yeah, because
brushes as
these things
well.
are not inexpensive because literally an
Exactly,
entire wall. So
exactly,
you need
exactly.
large
And
brushes, primers, and all of
yeah,
that. So
and the artists among us, the painters at least, I'll say that instead of artists, but the painters among us, we came prepped with our own materials and stuff because you're like,
yeah,
the BMC is not going to be able to cover everyone and everything. And so
yeah,
if
yeah,
we're going there as artists and painters, we should be doing our part in terms of supplying materials and things. And if you
correct.
remember, like I had kept it like open season to anyone who wanted to take my stuff and
I
paint it,
remember
but
that.
we kept like an ethical system in place, like the honor system, saying that if you've taken my stuff, which is my stuff, then make sure you bring it back when you're
Yeah,
done.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
everyone did
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I went there with, if I remember correctly, uh, 8 brushes and a roller, and I went back home with 8 brushes and a roller, all completely cleaned and given back to me every single time. So it was always like it was fun and amazing to see that not only
Yeah.
do people like you and I get to have a conversation, but they engage with the kids in the area, right? The
In
children who
fact, I
lived in
think
that area,
that's
the underprivileged kids and stuff.
true, true, true.
And
They painted
amazingly,
with
that's
us as
still
well.
one of the parts.
Uh,
Yeah, that's still one of the
yeah,
parts of the wall that is still there. It hasn't been
yeah.
painted over. It's still
I know,
very
I
much
know, I
there. The
know.
other stuff has been
Yeah,
painted
yeah,
over,
yeah.
but it's amazing to see and
It's
the kind
been
of
painted over
learnings we
with
got.
future wall projects. It's been painted over with, it's kind of been updated. It's
Yeah,
not been
yeah.
wiped out.
So after the wall project Mumbai, then there was the Mumbai wall project, then there was the Mumbai wall book,
Yeah,
and of course things haven't like really picked up since then because obviously the whole nature of the situation has changed, but also that space has kind of been taken over again by vehicles and a little bit of
yeah,
lack of care from the part of the municipal population. But to their defense, the railways are currently working on expanding the railway lines there. They're rebuilding the walls there. So
no, but
I'll
you know what?
give the
I've
BMC
seen
that
this in other
it's not been easy
places.
for them as well.
I've seen this in other places. I've seen parts of Bandra, of course, we all know, and that's been covered
Absolutely,
extensively in the
absolutely.
media as well. But I've been seeing it in places like, of course, last year when we were still moving around as per normal, when we didn't know the word coronavirus. But Andheri station has these murals on, the
Yeah,
station counter where the ticket counters and all that. And I've seen
absolutely,
it in a bunch of
absolutely.
other railway stations as well, because I primarily travel by train, not buses. But yeah, so
So
that
you're
idea
absolutely right.
has. Well,
The station painting situation is a little bit of a sore point for me at least, and a few other artists because of the way it was kind of handled. Like
hmm,
we've all been saying for a long time, and we've pitched ideas like this to the BMC
yeah,
many times over, to the railways many times over, but we would always reject it for whatever reason. I'm not going to get into that part of it. They have their reasons, but when they said that okay, this is going to be a
yeah,
citizen-driven project, and like everyone's going to volunteer and everything, a bunch of us artists stepped forward and said, you know what, we'd love to do something with these stations, and we have some concepts in mind
yeah,
to make the platforms a more accessible space, to make it a little bit more comforting because people are always there
yeah,
at very high stress levels, and people like me who are
yeah,
abstract artists, we want to paint those walls and paint those surfaces in such a way that we could alter people's moods for the better.
yeah,
But
yeah,
what we were told was, and we said we're not charging you anything, we just want the space to paint. What we were told in not so many words was, no, we're going to get the general public to paint those walls and everything over there, whatever they want to,
huh,
and you will just
huh.
have to come and monitor them and guide them,
Oh, ho,
right?
ho, ho,
And
ho. Okay.
So
Which kind of
they
goes against the
basically
whole
just,
point of.
it's, I see, I wouldn't have minded doing that, but the attitude that was brought towards it was a little bit hairy, to say the least.
Yeah.
Because
No, but that goes
if I'm
against the
going to
whole
be
point of.
there,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if I'm going to be there as an artist, I would like to be using my skills as an artist to beautify that space and to do something
Not as
with
a
it.
class monitor, nah.
Especially,
Not as a class
yeah,
monitor.
not even as a class monitor, but as a nanny of sorts. To just like oversee
Mm,
people and tell them, okay, this is how you hold a brush and this is what you do,
mm.
and not help them kind
Paint
of
between the lines only.
create something.
Don't paint between the lines.
Especially, yeah, especially because a majority of the people were completely inexperienced at painting anything vertical.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. They're
Yeah.
used to painting on paper and flat surfaces. They don't have the
Correct.
training. You've given them enamel paints to paint with, so things are dripping here and there. So there's a lot that goes into it, and
True.
we felt a little bit hurt that we've been practicing our art for so long. We've built up these
Yeah.
skills as mural painters,
Yeah.
especially, and
Yeah.
you don't want to take advantage of that to create a space that everyone can add to. We weren't saying we're the
Right.
only ones who are going to paint. We were saying give us
Yeah.
specific spaces that we can
True. True.
add to, and then everyone else can like bind it, and the whole each station could then have its own story. And that's exactly
Yeah.
what JJ School of Art got to do with Baikala Station. So they
Mm.
got this, they told the railways very straightforwardly, like, we are an art school, let our students paint the walls. This is what we train them to do. Right.
Hmm.
So that's why Baikala Station, if you go, it looks fantastic. It's got a lovely theme of wildlife and nature over there because they went back into the history of the city. And
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
entire space over there was just greenery. You had animals roaming around. It like that's what it was. So they kind of
Yeah.
brought that vibe back to the station,
Yeah.
and it looks so nice. I'm still not happy with the way that Andheri station kind of looks and feels because okay, if you want people to paint random things, then have a chat with them and help them kind of put things and curate it in the right place. So there's a good
Hmm.
flow to it, right? If you're
Right.
going from suddenly one black and white piece to a really
Yeah.
poppy kind of multicolored piece, and
Yeah.
then you switch over back to another black and white thing, it's very jarring as you're walking past in a space where you're looking for signage and then you have lines written or words written everywhere, which is very distracting for people who are
So
coming to a
this.
station, which is a place of
Yeah.
transport and transition,
Yeah.
it can be very overwhelming. And I've seen it happen. Right?
So
So
what I'm
that's
hearing in that, and I see your point, and that too as someone who understands design and the impact it has on our thinking, our sense of well-being, that makes total sense. But I think the other point of it is it's a city, and obviously what I'm saying may not be the best idea for a lot of places, common spaces in a city. But the point of a city, especially a city like Mumbai, is it's a mishmash, it's a smorgasbord of lots of different kinds of natures and
absolutely,
temperaments, all
absolutely,
clashing, not even existing in a harmonious way. But there is a lot, that is the not so harmonious end of diversity, which is that right now I'm having to talk loudly also because there's a bunch of kids screaming outside in the downstairs
that's
in the
okay. We can't
ground,
hear them. We can't hear them.
which is great, but it's basically I can't hear myself talk over there screaming. So
No.
that
I
kind of.
get your point. I get your point. And I'm not disagreeing with that in any way. I completely agree with it. My
I
point
think
was to say
mainly
that
this
we want to achieve that
mainly
harmony itself.
I think mainly this thought to me is coming up because of something that happened last week. As you probably remember, I've gotten back to sketching, pencil sketching, and now and then I've been posting those to my Instagram
Yeah.
stories. And the first one that I did was it was based on a photograph of myself with a flower at my window, and I sketched it. It doesn't look anything like me, but ये मेरा है, so it's okay. Like I'm not taking offense at my own lack of sketching skills and all. And the caption, I captioned it, I drawed. I mean, I didn't think that much about it. And immediately I got someone sliding into my DMs to say, the past tense of draw is drew, not drawed. I'm like, yes, and it just annoyed me, ticked me off so much. Not because I mean I am very confident about my ability with words. I am a writer. So there is that whole I can take you down any minute, Evo and all. But what really ticked me off is I created something it was a sketch I did based on a photograph of me on my profile. Somebody has to come in to try and take it down. And whatever they thought, being a grammar Nazi is cool, being an editor is cool, unsolicited advice is cool, any of it, this is just plain intrusive. And this, you can see why I'm thinking of that when it comes to, that there I feel like, and see, this was me. I'm extremely, supremely confident about my creation and my ability, and I'm literally the kind who will tell someone to just डूब मर. मेरा painting मैं बोलूँगी इसको क्या होना चाहिए, मेरा language. But a lot of people I don't think are that confident. And some of the questions that we ask people also, I'm just wondering how many of them have just never been asked what have you created that brings you joy. But I know everybody has been told,
Absolutely.
you don't paint well, you don't write well, English kharab hai, Hindi kharab hai, you don't know how to sing nicely, and these are things that just really like kill creativity before you even start, right?
I think if you speak to some of my students, they'll tell you that what I say in class is do it, and if it fails, it fails, but you learn from it and you do another one and it gets better, and you practice and you practice and you practice. But also what I tell them is there's a difference between criticism and critique. You have to be willing to look at what's being said, assume the critique out of it, and decide on whether you want to live with the criticism or not. It's not something that has to be there at all times, right? Like, for example, I have these different palette knives, okay? Each one does a different job. But when I'm learning to use them, if I use this one to do this one's job, does it make me a bad artist? No. Does it make me a bad artist to someone else? Maybe. Does that matter? Not at all. Right. But it's just that we've never been really told that it's okay to feel bad when someone says something, but it's also okay to ignore what people say just because they may not have the confidence with it or that they feel superior about it. And I keep going through this year in and year out. It's been 14 years since I became a full-time artist almost, and every year I still get the same feedback from people like, you're doing too many styles, you're doing too many things, you should focus on one thing. And all I hear is blah, 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 paint. Because I'm just like, I enjoy telling stories in different styles, and different paintings are going to have a different purpose to them. Right? Now, if I'm going to listen to you and do it as just one style throughout, how many stories are being lost in the process? How many ideas are being lost in the process?
True.
I wouldn't be doing prints like that if somebody had told me stick to only one style of painting. I would never have discovered printmaking if I wasn't willing to go there and look at different things and see T. Venkana in his open studio at Gallery Mascara at the time and just have him sit down with me and say, oh, I paint also, I draw also, I do photography, I do prints, I do this, I do that, I also dance. And I'm just like, okay, cool, another person who does mad things like that. Right?
No,
but
I think
if I listen to those people who just, it's a choice you have to make to say, do I want to engage with this or not, basically.
This is one of the things I absolutely love about you, because of course we have painted together, not just at Wall Project, but you've invited me home and sitting with your family and friends and all, and we're sitting at the same dining table and all of us are painting. But we've also you've come to my writers meets and you've been part of the writing games.
Absolutely.
We've been at various other creative spaces together, doing a bunch of different things, and I know this. I have never felt judged by you, like literally, and this is it has never felt like, oh, Jay is like this professional artist who people pay to like his art for his art and all. And oh my God, what's he going to think of me? And I'm like, I'm not painting properly, I'm not drawing properly, and all that. I think that is such a that's just we wanted to call this first. We wanted to call it artistic temperament. But I thought people would, kind of think that it meant people who are very pretentious and all, and you are completely not those things. That's why I thought.
See, judgment has to be looked at in two ways. One is that you're judging something for the quality of its creation, execution, or thought, The other is the judgment of action and the intent behind action. Now, why should I judge a person for creating something that doesn't look right? Yeah, like if you're drawing a human being and you haven't been trained for 10 years in drawing a human being at all, I'm going to not even expect anything because expectations lead to disappointment. So why would I expect you to be able to do a particular thing, right? I went through that same journey where throughout my school life, right, bless the teachers I had in school, especially the art teachers who were so limited by the curriculum that they were given and the number of students they had to handle, given the amount of time. But they just didn't get an opportunity to explain to me that Picasso existed, that Cubism was a thing. Because if they start the conversation with me, but 45 out of the 46 other kids are not interested, then it's going to be said to the principal that, oh, your art teacher doesn't pay attention to our children. So it's scary for them as well, and I fully understand that as an educator. But what has to be understood is that we've all gone through that situation, which means that I'm guessing that at the age of 8, you didn't know who Picasso was. You probably didn't hear the name Picasso until the age of even 14. Right now, this is just like hearsay and wild guessing, but that's the approximation I've gained over time. Over 11 years of being an educator, that's what I've understood. That until you're like 15, 16 years old, you don't even know the name Picasso, which means how would you know that the human beings you were drawing at that age, like I was, is okay? All the features are there. The proportions may not be correct, but if somebody had explained to me that that's okay, suddenly my interest in cartoons would have changed. My understanding of cartoons would have changed. Right? So
just one second,
it's important to...
Just one sec. Quick shout out to common friend Neha. Neha's
Hello.
here and she's saying hi to both of us.
Hi,
Neha, by the way, is a wonderful dancer. In addition to all the many other things that she is, singer and dancer.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
Let's what you were saying earlier.
But I mean, like, so for me to judge you, right, for drawing something a particular way or doing something a particular way, that's just dumb. There is no other word for it. It's just dumb. So instead of doing that, what I say is, okay, let me judge the artwork for the qualities a good artwork should have in terms of its design, right? Its construction, the use of its materials. Did the person use those parameters to the best of their ability? Not, then is there a way that I can give them perhaps my opinion in a constructive manner to help them grow and do something a little more qualitatively better, in my opinion, as compared to theirs? But obviously, I can't force that down someone's throat. It's silly to do that. And I think you've also done the same with the writing side of things, I think, in a very even manner. You've given me very honest opinions about the writing that I've shared with you. You've told me where it's too much, too little, too bold, not bold enough, too strong, not strong enough, too descriptive, not descriptive enough.
Techniques rather than on the critiquing an idea.
Exactly. Because as human beings, we have 18 ideas a minute, right? You can't deal with every idea in every moment. It's silly to think that, and this is something in design that we teach, that you can't solve everything all at once. Pick a maximum of 3 things that you can find a connection between, find a solution that works and benefits all 3, and solves for one of them in particular. That's how you get good results.
Which I have to point out is a mathematical approach. Because I know too many people who think maths and creativity, ये दोनों में तो कोई like connection ही नहीं है.
Art is maths. Maths is art. I may not be great at solving equations and solving those kinds of problems, but as an artist, I'm using mathematics.
Absolutely.
I mean, geometry is art. I live for it.
Exactly, right.
When I first saw Kandinsky's work, when I saw Paul Klee's work, when I saw
even
Raza's work.
Even that guy, the Campbell's soup cans guy, what's his name? You know who I'm talking about.
And suddenly the name has escaped me. Andy Warhol.
You know the person I'm talking about. Soup cans. Yeah,
Warhol. Yeah.
Andy Warhol. Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
I mean,
That's
mathematics is
actually kind of, yeah.
here's the simplest and most honest representation I can give you
Yeah.
for math
Oh, sorry,
being art.
Jay.
Okay.
Another shout out. Sorry about that, but Sadaf is here. That's shrink female. Sadaf
Hello,
is an
hello.
art-based therapist. So she uses art as therapy techniques, which again I don't want to Sadaf explain
Fantastic.
anyone, but yeah. So I'm so glad she's here in the live today. But yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, so I was alluding to pointillism. Georges
right.
Seurat, we've all seen that famous picture of like a day in the park where there's like trees and there's people on picnic blankets and
Hmm,
a
hmm,
lady in
hmm,
a dress with an umbrella and a hat and everything, and there's a river
yeah, yeah,
flowing,
yeah,
the river Seine and
yeah.
everything. So that painting is a miracle of artistic creation because
Hmm.
there is a precise number of colored dots every inch of that
Pointillism is
painting, and it has
maths, right?
been completely calculated mathematically. The man sat down, calculated, and said, to get this right, I need this many dots of yellow, this many dots of red, this
Yeah,
many dots of blue, this many dots of green in that particular space to give me that
yeah,
effect.
yeah,
It's,
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
for anyone to think that mathematics is not creative and that it is not art is deluded. Honestly, I don't have a better word for it. They are deluded.
And geometry is just the kind of the most visible and pun intended visible way that maths and art it seems stupid to even call them two different things. They are the same thing.
Absolutely.
Music and maths
Absolutely.
come from the same part of the brain. In fact, and I studied maths, you know that, undergrad level. And in my final year, I had this one professor who was very eccentric, but quite a genius, honestly. And he was actually, I believe he also had a degree in music, classical music. And that totally made sense because all classical music forms all over the world use very precise mathematical structures. They're all repeating motifs, right?
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
so
There's,
shall we?
I think,
Shall we? Sorry. Yeah. Go on.
no, I was just going to say, like, even Sadaf will agree that there is mathematics in the art of therapy. Like, there's a certain calculation that goes into understanding levels that people are at, understanding emotional levels,
Hmm.
IQ levels, EQ levels,
Hmm.
and then trying to find that balance of action,
Yeah.
thought, and process with material. How
Yeah.
much do you ask the person to do? How can you show them how to measure their own outcomes and qualitatively and
Hmm.
quantitatively assess that and say, okay, now I'm okay with
Yeah.
this at this level and now I can move up another level.
Yeah.
Absolutely. She mentions algorithms. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
finding a
Yeah.
more efficient way of kind of
Yeah.
working in a way. So yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off from, yeah.
No. That's fine. I mean, like, really, you don't have to say sorry, Jay. Like, our conversations are always like that. Like ideas and words just kind of tumbling over each other. And
Absolutely,
I,
absolutely.
I, I talk the way I paint, and you've seen the way I paint. Splash everywhere and all. And somewhere something will make sense. It will
Absolutely.
finally. Sab mein ek border dal do at the end, and then it will suddenly make sense. So I was thinking we got some pretty interesting answers to the questions. I don't know if you saw that,
Absolutely.
but the question I asked about what is one thing that you thought did not think was creative, but it turned out to be. And among some of the answers that came in that I was not expecting was engineering, coding. Somebody said judo, I think, and I've
Yeah.
tagged you in that saying that Jay is MMA. How do you put it? MMA artist, MMA fighter, because MMA
No,
the
you
A
would
in
say
MMA stands for fight, right?
no, you say mixed martial artist. But I haven't done it in a long time. Obviously, it's been years, but
Former mixed
I
martial
was
artist.
yeah. So those answers are actually fascinating and fantastic to me because joy comes in so many different ways. People assume that uh, art and painting is the only way to find joy, or to
Yeah.
sit in front of a comedian is to find joy. But it just comes down to doing something that you want to do, doing something that surprises you, something that just makes you feel like everything's okay, right? No matter how good or bad something is happening around you, in that moment, in that action, activity, word, sound, whatever it may be. Like I know somebody who feels joy just from hearing doorbells ring, right? So, I mean, I've never been joyful about doorbells ringing really, but if that works for them, that works for them. And that's the beauty of joy. It's ethereal, it is ephemeral, it is beyond the real, it is very abstract. And again, like talking about judo, I know a lot of martial artists who, when they're in that uniform or when they're in the middle of that move, that movement, that breath, it's another realm of feeling. It's another experience entirely. And as a painter, I can equate to that in the moment where, or a printmaker rather, at this stage, I'm doing more prints than I am painting, but when I have my tools in my hand, right, and that feeling of the linoleum rolling off or getting chipped out, and the difference in the grays, like, it's a subtle thing. But in that moment, it's all that matters and nothing else. It's all that one can really care about. It's all that one really should focus on. Life's not always rainbows and butterflies and chocolates and things.
You are one with the action.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, I think people find it easier to... I think people find that easier to understand when you talk about it in the realm of sports. And I've not played a sport, but I am a swimmer. So I know as a swimmer there is this precise moment where suddenly you are still, the water is still entering. No matter how good a swimmer you are, there's still a whole lot of very unpleasant sensations because the chlorine is burning your eyes and, the glasses are cutting into your skin and your hair is tugging and, the suit is tugging somewhere. Somebody splashed water in your face or, the wave has hit you if you're in the sea. But there is this precise moment where suddenly all that is happening and it's like, it doesn't matter. You are just one with the water.
Absolutely.
It's literally like you are one more drop of water. And so, and I have experienced that when I'm painting. Actually, sometimes it's like suddenly it doesn't. I'm just like my hands are just moving of their own accord, and they just like I don't have to think anymore. It's not quite autopilot because it's sort of hyper consciousness, but yeah. And I guess that's a state that can be achieved by a lot more things than just what we see as art.
So it's a moment where inhibition is let go of as a fear.
Yeah.
It is a moment where fear becomes neutrality, and it becomes a moment where action is done to achieve nothing. There is no purpose, there is no ulterior motive. It is simply, there is an action and it must be done. It must be completed from a starting point to an ending point, and that is all. Nothing else matters. Even with a brush stroke, when you apply that stroke, if you are in tune with that moment where all you're doing is applying paint to a surface. Doesn't matter what the brush is, it doesn't matter what the color is, the action is to apply paint to a surface. If you can find yourself in that moment where that's all that matters, then that's all that matters. You cannot go wrong with it. There is no wrong. Right? To quote Yoda, do or do not. There is no try. Right?
So that's very all interesting. That matters. That's a really interesting point because I found, and I've been a sort of professional writer in the sense of writing has been a source of income for me for a few years now. And I had a friend actually tell me this way back when I was a teenager. She said, don't make what you love your career because then it'll be something you do for a living. And all these years later, I get what she means. I still love writing. Writing feels to me like I am breathing right now. Whatever form of writing, whether it's business writing or a tweet or a poem or any of it. But when there is the pressure of a deadline, an editor, a word count, all of those, it's not that there isn't joy, but suddenly those anxieties start to take precedence over feeling, and you can't get into the state when you are being anxious also. And that's where I
Absolutely,
think
absolutely.
one of the people here asked about worth of art. That's completely a valid question, because obviously we are not living at a time where we have rich kings who are going to be our patrons and all. We've got to figure out a way for it to be saleable.
Absolutely. I
But if it
think,
is
but that's
possible, I would think,
also that is a conversation that has is now being had in terms of why does art need to be expensive? Why does it need to be in the realm of only some? Why
yeah,
should it
yeah,
only be the bastion of those that have massive bank accounts, right?
yeah,
I you know this about me, where if somebody finds a work of mine attractive and they would like to
yeah,
purchase it,
yeah,
I just talk to them and say, you know what, let's do a deal. Okay, you don't have to
yeah,
pay me entirely upfront and everything right now. Do it over a period of time.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Give me your address so I know where to deliver the painting to you. And
yeah,
because I know where you live, I know that I can trust that if you default, I know where to find you. But I know you
yeah,
won't default because you love the artwork, you respect me, and you want to do right by me.
yeah, yeah,
Right? And people are now slowly waking up to that idea and saying, wait, if I can pay an EMI for a car,
yeah,
why can't I pay an EMI for a painting? If
yeah,
I can
yeah,
rent a home, if I can rent a
yeah,
tuxedo for an event, why can't I rent a painting or a print? Right. So I
yeah,
think it's important to now have that conversation of deciding what worth is and how to deal with.
mm,
Because
yeah,
if
yeah,
somebody comes to an exhibition of mine, and it's happened before, where they've been snooty and obnoxious and just been a downright pain, right?
yeah,
I've quoted an obnoxious price to them for my art, knowing that they're going to reject it purely because it's way too much and they've just realized what's happened. On the other hand, the
So
same
Jay, I think you've
artwork,
outed yourself. You've outed
no,
yourself. So everyone who's watching this,
I've never made bones about it. I've never hidden it as a fact. I've always made it very, very clear. If you're going to be a dick to me about buying art,
yeah,
then I'm going to be a dick to you about selling art. It's as simple as that. Because
yeah,
the
yeah.
same painting,
I think that's very
when
fair.
a
Yeah,
couple came into the gallery, they fell in love with it and they realized that it was a little bit outside their realm. I said, you know what?
yeah,
Take it with you and give me a token amount right now. Let's set that token amount as a monthly payment over the next 3 months. Okay. If you prefer giving me like pre-signed checks in advance
yeah,
that I can just go in cash whenever I need to accordingly at
yeah,
that particular date, then let's do that. If you want to
yeah,
set up a recurring payment on an online platform, let's do that. If you want to give me cash
yeah,
and you'd like to meet at a certain point in time over a cup of coffee or something to just have a conversation and like give me the money at that point, let's do that. Whatever it is,
yeah,
but when they're genuinely interested in it, when they have a genuine connection to it, and they're not being, for lack of a better word, assholes about it,
yeah,
I'm going to give to them. I'm going to want to say, come partake, let it
yeah,
exchange hands and become yours
yeah,
to
yeah,
build a
yeah,
new
yeah,
life with. Right?
yeah, yeah,
Why should
yeah,
why should I prevent people from acquiring work that they truly find themselves associated with? And I think you would
yeah,
say the same possibly about a piece of writing. If someone came to you as a troublesome client and was like, you knew from the minute you met them, like, yeah, they're going to ask for 1,000 changes, they're going to ask for this and that, and just keep being a pain. You're going to quote a higher number to them, right? You're going to do that purely because you know what you're going to be dealing with. So when it comes to
So
work, yes, the artwork
because
has work, but the artist also has work.
no, but also because I've been while I have been a creator for the last 10 years, I was also a hard-nosed data analyst, management consultant, asshole business person for 10 years before that, and I've never let go of that. There's no reason to let go of that because धंधा है तो देखना पड़ता है ये सब. So
Of course.
when I get a sense that this person is treating it like dhanda, then I'll also bring my dhanda wala hat. I'm not going to be a whole इसमें मैं कलाकार नहीं इसमें मैं धंधा Okay, dhanda wali sounds very
Absolutely.
bad, but you get the point. So yeah,
Absolutely.
that's
So, okay,
yeah.
so
No, but
based on what Dhaval has written over here, clearly I'm not the only one doing this.
yeah. I think we're all Dhaval again. Do you know Dhaval? Dhaval
No,
has
I
been a
don't believe
journalist.
so.
Yeah, Dhaval has been a journalist.
Lovely to
Dhaval
meet
was, in
you.
fact, the first person to spot us, and you remember the band that I was co-founder of, and
Yeah,
did a story about us. The first person to do a story about us, and Dhaval
fantastic,
now
fantastic.
is with the Toy Bank, if I'm not mistaken. So yep, some really, I know such cool people, and all of you bring in more cool people as well. Okay,
Absolutely. I
so
mean, like,
Jay, I did promise that we'll touch on some of the answers that came into the Bibliosmriti
absolutely. I
question.
was just about
So
to
any of you
suggest
who
that
are
as well. Yeah.
any of you who are new to me and who just kind of wandered into this life because the wonderful Jay Ranjit is here. Let me give you a little background. I do this every 3-4 months where I post a really fun question, and based on the answers, I match make the person with a book that I think they will love. And only books that I've read myself. So this is not a promotion for any author, any publisher, bookshop, none of it. And this is really to promote the love of reading, share the love of reading, because whether it's reading or whether it's art, it's like when you really love something, you want lots of other people also to love it and have conversations about it. And Jay has agreed to tie up with me on this. And the question we asked was, Jay, do you want to tell us the question that we asked? Repeat the question.
Wait, do we have it here where we can just maybe show it to? I don't know if we can show it
Okay.
to anyone up
Yeah,
here,
no,
but
that's okay. It's okay. I don't think there is a way to. So I'm still kind of figuring out the Instagram live all the things. But the
right,
question
right, right.
was, if you were a color and or a pattern, what would we be looking at? And people really showed up with the answers. You remember, we debated for about 15 minutes about how to word this
Yeah.
because लोगों को समझ में आएगा
It
क्या? Will
it
they be open to
it's
giving
it's a
answers?
question,
But
all right. It's a question, all right.
yeah, but some fantastic answers, and I'm totally not judging those of you who are
Absolutely.
worried about whether your answers were not good or not. I'm just saying they were all fantastic because I did not. I think Jay had a lot more faith in all of you people that he had not met. I was worried about whether people would be able to answer that question, in a way that we could do something with it. So, Jay, did any of those answers, kind of make you laugh or make you think, "Oh my
Yes.
God, I have to talk to this
Um,
person"? Tell
so
us.
I think so. Some of them really surprised me in a really nice manner. One of them was scribble scrabble on a notepad with meaningful doodles on the same page, which
Wow.
is really fun because that is something that a lot of us do as artists and designers, where we just have a stream of consciousness and you just try and say, oh, what's in my mind, and you just start doing stuff, and it comes
True.
out really interestingly, and it's generally a good way of looking at that person as a representation. My art will speak for that. When you see my
Yeah.
abstract pieces, where you can actually tell, like, oh, this is a Jai, this is Azayu, this is a thing.
I do feel we
But
need
another
to show
one,
this in
yeah,
the meantime. This was
exactly,
done by
brilliant.
Sadaf.
It's a perfect representation as well
Yeah.
of the
I love
idea.
this. This is by
Fantastic.
Sadaf, by the way, who's here on the live, shrink female. Yeah.
Lovely,
Very
lovely.
cat and the little word. It's there's a letter inside it which I'm not going to show all of you, but yeah,
We've
yeah.
So Ricardo has said over here, I never answered this, and I think I'd be a deep blue with flecks of light green and yellow. That's a lovely impression. It's a very
Deep blue with
Cezanne
flecks.
Monet impressionist kind of envision that I have, like a lovely speckled painting.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, another one of the answers that stood out to me was orange candy stripes, which I found really, really fun because just to think of
Orange dolly.
a very clean graphic design pattern of just
Yeah.
orange and white stripes on a page. There's something so pleasing about it that reminds
Yeah.
me a little bit of Calvin and Hobbes, a little bit of Tigers, a little bit of a whole bunch of things. And
It's
one
very
of the
summer,
artists that it
isn't it?
brings to mind, yeah, but one of the
Huh.
artists it also brings to mind is Anada Menon. If you guys don't know who she is, you guys should check her out. She's on Instagram at Anada Menon. She is absolutely phenomenal, and in fact, I have something here of hers which has just come, which I'm very very happy with. Which is, I don't know if you can see it. It's called the Box of Chonks. So what she's done is she's partnered up with a bunch of different, not Anaga, Anada, ANNADA.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's partnered with a bunch of other artists and NGOs and stuff, and the sales from these calendars that she's done of chonky animals goes towards those NGOs and things. So it's a nice way of supporting things and all, but the style that she uses is she takes these regular animals that we all know of and then turns them into chonky creatures. So just imagine a fluffy ball tiger, but lovely white and orange stripes all over it.
Nice.
Black
Very
stripes here and there, and just like that candy stripes concept just really stood out to me. Another one that stood out to me was chaotic constellations in the sky. When you look up at the night sky, you're constantly thinking, oh, there is a particular arrangement in each quadrant of the sky. I'm looking at a lovely combination of stars. But to think of a set of chaotic constellations is just like, oh, there's a thing, and 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 there's another thing. And there's so many things.
Yeah.
And the sky is your open space. You can play. And there's so many stars you can journey to, and stories you can tell, and beings you can create out of nothing. There's just so much there that can be played with.
That just made me think of Van Gogh, actually, Starry Night.
Absolutely.
And I was just looking around because I have it here. I think you've seen this, no, Jay? This is an oregano bottle.
Absolutely.
I'm very happy with it. I know the brush strokes are all a little awry, but it's
so I mean, like these are some of the answers that kind of called out to me, and there's one last one which is dark blue matte rough with a pattern of silver crisscross lines on it. So suddenly there's this entire envisioning of like texture as a pattern, so that came out to me, which seems really really cool and interesting, which is not limiting to just a flat surface, but that journey of, you know, like when you touch a face and you feel the texture of it, you feel the bumps of it, and you feel the hair, and you feel the eyelashes and all these things, and you just get a sensibility of structure, a sensibility of experience in a way. It really stood out to me, but also the notion of blue and silver.
Yeah.
That combination is so iconic, and it is so energetic that the first thing that pops into my mind is perhaps a slightly loose cloud in front of the moon shining against a very inky blue sky.
Yeah.
Right? So the cloud is just allowing slivers of the moon to show through, or perhaps looking through a tree. And just there's suddenly a whole romance around it, which is so lovely. So I think some of the answers that we got were absolutely phenomenal. They're really, really something else. So very, very excited to see how people feel.
This particular answer actually made me think of an Enid Blyton series called The Secret series. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I think you froze for a second. So there's a whole series of The Secret Island, The Secret of Moon Castle, The Secret of Kilimoy. You probably read that. And I thought of that because there's a character called Prince Paul, and he's an actual prince of some fictitious land called Baronia. And Baronia's official colors are blue and silver, because like he's supposed to be a regular boy in boarding school in Britain. But over the summer vacation and all, his personal pilots come to take him in his father's jet. And the plane is all blue and silver, and they're wearing uniforms that are blue and silver. So it just, the blue and silver immediately took me back to that whole, and I think that's going to be one of the books I'm suggesting to this person.
Fantastic.
Yep. So by the way, we are actually over an hour, and I'm loving this conversation, and everyone here is still kind of going strong with that. But maybe we can kind of cover the plug bit of it. So just in case you get dropped, we still have that, and then we'll continue the conversation. Does that work for everyone else as well? We're just going to assume that they said yes because they. So Jay, is there anything you'd like? Yeah.
So I was just going to
Hello?
say from my end, the plugs are going to be very, very short and simple. One is my website, which is artwithzayu.com. The reason I'm plugging this is because when I sell my art, a part of the
Yeah.
sales go towards other artists, providing materials to them or providing opportunities to them. So, or being able to let me purchase some of their art and to kind of help the community grow in a way.
Yeah.
So, if you guys are interested in purchasing art or commissioning art or something, then you can head over to the website, check it out. You can also see my work on my Instagram and just check that out there. The other thing that I do want to promote is a friend of mine, Arunima Bose, who is based out of Goa and does some amazing work relating to art based on women's bodies and women's empowerment. She also has a lovely program called the Connect, where you can
Could you
actually
type those in the
sit down
comment
with
section
her.
as well?
I'll try and put that in. Um, so I need to do this without dropping my phone off the frame here. So
No, no. So you can do that after you finish. You can finish telling us that. Sorry, I interrupted you there, but I couldn't
no,
catch
not
the
at all.
words. Otherwise, I would for you. So
So she has this kind of a therapeutic program that she's developed, wherein you sit in for hour or hour and a half long sessions, and she helps you kind of get in touch with your emotional side, with your physical side, with your representative side. So she guides you in exercises that help you create artwork, and then discuss the artworks and really find a new pathway into yourself. So I think that's a very, very interesting, important way of doing things. So you can just head over to her handle, aru.pose. I don't know if I'll be able to find it right now on this, but if you give me a second while you are plugging something that you would like to plug, then I can just pull that up quickly and
So how about this? After the live is over, just text it to me and I'll put up a story saying these are Jay's recommendations.
absolutely, I will definitely do that. I mean,
Then the handles
it's
also
definitely
can go
something
both.
worth doing. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, she is a lovely, lovely human being. She is very open about helping people kind of represent themselves, to be able to express themselves in a very open manner, and to be able to find themselves in a new way. I think that's the best way to put it. She
Yeah.
helps people really, really rediscover themselves, and I think that's really important in today's world, given the kind of experiences we've had, given the kind of year we've had.
Yeah.
We've all had demons to face, and I think that's a great way to kind of enter a realm of reconnecting with the self.
Yeah, yeah. So before I get into my plug, Jay, you asked me to bring this up in case you forgot, but there was one answer that we talked a little bit about, and that kind of triggered off a thought as well. And that answer was black
Yeah.
circles to the bibliosmithy question. So you want to
Yes.
tell us a little bit, tell the audience
Sorry, you broke off over there. I missed what you were saying. I
others
think
what
my
you shared
network's
with
a little
me.
bit.
Yeah. Okay. Now you're clear. Okay. Now video is not so clear. Say something.
Can you hear me clearly now?
I can hear you clearly. I can hear you clearly. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. You were cracking and breaking up. So do you want to just rewind a little bit?
Yeah, the answer was black circles. To which
Yes.
color slash pattern are you? And that I
Yeah,
think
absolutely.
was the answer that really called to you. So yeah, tell us about it.
Absolutely. So the idea behind the black circles was something very, very interesting because I have always been in love with Kandinsky's work. He used a lot of geometric forms. He loved working with black circles and black spaces. But there was also another artist called Ad Reinhardt, who worked with the color black in a very creative, interesting way, which was to give you the experience of black without it being pure black. So what you saw on a canvas was a grid of 4 squares that you assumed were black, but when you looked closer, you couldn't really make out until you were really close and your eyes had adjusted and you could see the tinges of blue and the tinges
Yeah.
of red and the tinges of green. So there's
So
an entire experience to be had in the black paintings which really jumped at me. And also the conversation around black, which is what I'm wearing, is that people have a weird kind of association with it, especially in India for some reason. We love the color black, but we hate the color black, and we can't wear it in certain situations, and we can't use
There are
it in certain
certain
situations.
superstitious connotations, right?
Correct.
Black, that's right.
Which to me makes zero sense. As a person who lives in color and who works with color, yes, your rituals are yours to have, your way of thinking is yours to have, but for me, color is color.
Yeah.
And no one color can represent the same thing to different people.
Yeah.
If you are setting a singular agenda to it.
Yeah.
But everyone experiences color in different ways. Like for me, the color red doesn't necessarily denote love. Right?
Yeah.
But also we all have different levels of love that we experience, different types of love. So why should the color red be the only thing there?
Yeah.
So that understanding that comes through to me of black is a very different kind of understanding that most other people have, and it's an association that I find absolutely fascinating.
So just based on that little bit that you told me when we spoke earlier today, I don't know if you noticed this, but I'm leaning in closer because my eyebrows are actually cherry black lipstick. My eyebrows are not naturally this color. My hair is actually black brown, and this over here is purple that I've faded into black. So that sort of is like a little tip off to that little bit that you told me, like different shades of, and this is a brown black here. There's actually no pure black eyeliner or lipstick that I've used anywhere on the face. It's just different.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just a color that is so fascinating because different materials show black in different ways. Different experiences make us see black in different ways, and different tonalities. Like we were having a conversation about like Vanta black. Right? Yeah. And there's so many debates about, is it really a color? Is it really black? What is black? There are different ways of looking at it where you say black is the absence of color, whereas I say black is the amalgamation of all color. Right? It contains everything. In the same breath that someone might say that white is devoid of all color. So to me, like these sensations and these discussions of color, especially to start off with something like a black circle, if you just take a white surface or a plain surface of any color and you put a black dot on it, suddenly that surface is transformed. That there's suddenly nothing and something there at the same time.
Which pulls your
attention in a more forceful manner.
Absolutely.
So if you just take a piece of white paper, there is nothing and something there as well in that moment. But the minute you put that black circle there, suddenly it means something. Suddenly there is a meaning ascribed to it intentionally or abstractly by the mind.
True.
Which means that our understanding of the universe as well lies in the color black and what it can do to the spaces around us or to our perception.
So I feel like this would be a good time to actually pause this because I'm hoping that everyone here has received a lot of different things that you want to go and deep dive into. And Jay is full of wonderful ideas like this, and it always feels like it's a balance between, should I talk about 10 different ideas with Jay or take one idea and get into like a lot of discussion with him. And the good news is that he's online. So, everyone here who doesn't already follow him, please follow him. But also, since you mentioned Vanta Black, the plug that I was working up to is a design podcast called 99% Invisible. It's actually a radio show, but done so beautifully. Well, done so when I'm saying but, that's because it's the production. Okay, sorry about that. 99% Invisible. The production quality is excellent, so you can hear every word they're saying, but it feels like a regular conversation like this. They do a lot of research. And the reason I'm plugging that connected to this is one of their episodes is about the whole Vanta Black issue, which if you don't know, then doesn't matter. Just Google Vanta Black. There's a whole thing out there and it's raising a lot of questions about identity, ownership, technology, the future of technology, art, how does it make us feel, who owns it, capitalism, economy. and all of it in that one word, Vanta Black. So look it up. You can see Jay is nodding to that. So there's a whole world out there.
Absolutely.
So yeah, check
There's-
out 99% Invisible. Their podcasts are on Spotify, and they've recently come out with a book based on their most popular episodes. So that is my
There's,
plug. And
There's
yeah.
one more thing that I just remembered that I wanted to plug and I forgot to mention it to you earlier is
Go ahead.
for those of you who don't know anything about printmaking and would like to start learning a little bit about it or at least hear from printmakers themselves, there is a brilliant podcast on Spotify called Pine Copper Lime. So that's PINE dot COPPER dot LIME dot. So Pine Copper
I think
Lime.
yeah, this also, if you can type it in, and you can also send
I
it to
will,
me.
I
all
will.
these
Yeah, I'll definitely put that in and I'll send the link to you as well. So
Yeah.
Pine Copper Lime is a brilliant podcast that where you have basically somebody who is quite a fun creator herself, Miranda Metcalf, and she has conversations with printmakers across different styles of printmaking, and they each tell their story and give you a sense of what they do, why they got into it, what the inspirations were, etc. So it's a phenomenal podcast to listen to. Pretty short episodes, like half an hour or so, 40 minutes. But it's great to listen to while you're working or doing something on the side, and it's just fun. It's just really fun.
Fun is something that, yeah, I mean, we didn't actually touch on that, but at the end of it, that's what it needs to be, right? Fun needs to come when you're doing it. Fun needs to come for you.
Absolutely.
You know? Okay.
Absolutely.
On that
Absolutely.
note, Jay, can you believe it's almost 11:20?
Yeah, I can. Conversations on art always like explore. So I think before we end, we do have one thing that we do need to touch upon, which we intended to start with, but we never got to it. Was I'm sure some of you guys must be wondering why on earth a brilliant writer is using K in creative and K in spectrum in the title for this particular chat that we're having. We both it slipped both our minds, but I suddenly looked at my screen and I was like, oh wait, we forgot to talk about that. So it's basically just the two of us being ironic and silly. With the spectrum part of it, I organized a group exhibition a few years back, two group exhibitions a few years back in a series that I like to call Spectrum with a K, purely because it just seemed cool. I guess it just had a nice. I made a print version of the poster for it, and I was like, the C just doesn't work, so let me turn it into K, and I really like that idea. The K for the creative essentially just came from the silliness of having K serials in India, and just the fact that you could take any word in the language that starts with a C and just put a K on it, and suddenly it's Indianized. And we just thought that was absolutely hilarious. So we just kind of said, you know what? We both love being silly. We both love being a bit weird. So why not be, yes, K for Kitsch, creative spectrum with a K, and do all of that kind of jazz. So yeah, I mean,
after we went ahead with that, every single story I had to hashtag it. I had to type the whole thing out because autocorrect kept changing it back to C. Like, no, like K, so K.
Fantastic.
I'm so glad you remembered that, Jay. This is like very bad of me. I'm sorry, I forgot to.
No, not at all. Also, a good way to end is a nice compliment for your makeup. From
thank
TJ
you,
Kulagi.
TJ.
So,
TJ is my friend, and his compliment is basically an apology for showing up so late at the end. Ekdam ustad ban ke he walks in
we're glad
late.
to have.
He looks so good.
We're glad to have him.
Yes. Thank you so much, Jay. Thank you for doing this with me and everyone who tuned in.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And thank you to everyone who's joined in. It's been lovely to have you guys listen in, especially those of you who have stuck around right from the start. So thanks for bearing with my nonsensical ramblings for over an hour.
Not nonsensical at all, Jay. Jay, by the way, also you have popped the cherry on the new name for this series. As you know, the series was called Girl Talk XX Factor previously, and that felt a little both pretentious and limited because I realized I have great conversations with people from all genders, and
Absolutely.
they don't have to be limited only to, feminism is always going to be, hopefully, always going to be a part of my narrative, but my world is also art and fun and relationships and a bunch of things. So
Absolutely.
I've just taken it back to the very egoistic, but still, it kind of just feels more the Idea Smithy. So you've been my date at the Idea Smithy. So thank you so much for this, for making it such a nice, colorful.
Absolutely a pleasure. Glad to have been here, and he says bye as well. And thank you for having him. I don't know if you guys can see him, but that's my version of American Gothic print style.
Do you want to take the phone close to it? Maybe then we can
let me bring the painting, the print closer actually.
How have you attached that? You've got a magnet at the back, is it?
There's a hook. There's a hook over there. That one. Essentially, if you guys might recognize the painting American Gothic, where it's a farmer and his wife standing in front of their house, where the farmer is holding a pitchfork. Yeah, exactly. So here's my version of it, where I kind of thought
Indian
of it.
Gothic.
This is no, this is American Gothic, but this was created in 2017 when a certain someone had just taken office and was kind of showing his true colors. And so my assumption was that the house is burned down behind. The old man is now a scarecrow in his own field, and the poor wife is no longer there.
Oh God,
So,
Jay, you predicted 2020.
Well, it kind of seemed it was going to go that way. So,
well, you know what? Maybe the only change you need to make is instead of a pitchfork, turn that into a golf club, and then you're spot on.
Well, not really. I think so. This is still the American Gothic characters being there. It's just a result of whose outcome. So I think having a golf club there would have been a bit too much.
Ramya Gothic. I didn't say Ramya Gothic. I said Indian Gothic. There's no Ramya Gothic.
Well, I think that qualifies. I think that qualifies. I think maybe that should be the next, the makeup theme for the next one that you do, Ramya Gothic.
Oh, I was hoping you'd say that I inspire your next collection of paintings. Like you can make me famous. Like, okay, I know Madhuri Dixit was already famous when MF Hussain decided to, kind of famous. But like you could make me famous, saying like Ramya is my muse for my next.
You know you're always welcome to sit and pose for me. I'll be more than happy to paint you any time of the year. So,
yay!
By all means.
As soon as then that's a date. I'm going to take you up on that. As soon as
absolutely.
Feel safe to step out. I'm going to come to you and say, Jay, now paint me. Paint me like one of your girls. Paint me like one of your girls.
Wait 1 second. For that to happen, I need a charcoal stick so I can be Leonardo DiCaprio.
All right. And we will close this conversation on that note.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you, the audience, also interact with us in such a wonderful way. Thank you, Ramya, for having me. It's been a fun evening.
Don't forget to send me the recommendations, okay? And the story will go up right after this.
Absolutely.
And everyone, this video is going to be saved and will be on my IGTV as well. So now let's all get out before Instagram decides, oops, like we've been talking for so too long and, drop us. And I'll be doing this every Wednesday. So come back next Wednesday as well. Bye. Good night.
Bye, everyone. Good night.